It definitely shows how it's a community effort and how everyone basically pulled together their resources to become involved.
For volunteers in Champaign County, addressing the challenges of homelessness begins with identifying where it is. Good evening, I'm Brendan Morano.
And I'm Karina Rubio. Champaign County Continuum of Care held their annual point-in-time count tonight. It's been happening for the past 20 years. Volunteers go to different spots across the area, counting the number of people without homes. WCIA3's Jack Crum joins us in studio. Jack, why do they do this?
They're hopeful to identify trends, demographics, and potential gaps in resources for the county. This is a national effort through the Department of Housing and Urban Development to get accurate numbers pertaining to homeless and unsheltered individuals. One official I talked to says the efforts tonight will lead to a game plan in the future for how to best serve the unhoused.
So it's helpful just to provide that point of contact and get to learn a little bit more about them and see how we can kind of help.
Almost 50 volunteers walked through 9 different areas across Champaign County Wednesday night. It was to get a head count and hear directly from the homeless. One of the volunteers collecting data was Cameron Doty.
I just felt that it was very important for me to be here today, not only to support this initiative, but to make sure that the community knows that it takes a community to solve these type of issues, and it is something that impacts everyone individually.
Katie Harmon is a coordinator for the Continuum of Service Providers.
We want to see if the numbers are increasing, decreasing. We also collect demographic data, trying to determine how long people have been experiencing homelessness, and we use that information in planning for future resources.
Those future resources include funding opportunities through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Harmon says what they learn makes a big difference in how they serve those who are homeless across the county.
We've had expansion of emergency shelter, for example. We've had some increase in permanent supportive housing vouchers available. We've used the information to develop a 3-year strategic plan, which we hadn't had in place for a while, to really give us direction in more kind of targeted areas that we want to work on.
Volunteers also gave people information about resources already available countywide.
I really appreciate the community volunteerism, support, really coming together to help address homelessness.
Harmon says it might be a couple weeks until they get to share the final numbers with the community. The final figure will include shelter providers' data as well. Karina?
All right, Jack, thank you. Last year's point-in-time count saw a rise in homelessness, a total of 279 people, an increase of 64 from 2023. 42 people were unsheltered, 152 in emergency shelters, and 85 were in transitional housing.